I grew up on a farm, and I guess the desire or the urge or the liking to get back into farming and to agriculture never quite left me. I have a deep, deep relationship to the land. It's just so difficult to say what it is, because it really doesn't speak to you verbally, but it speaks to you when you see the crops growing. It speaks to you when you're harvesting the crops, but it speaks in silence. People have always said, why do you want to live in a small community? It's so nice to be able to go into town and see somebody, talk to them, sit down, and share just the pleasures of a small community. And I guess that's the type of person I am. I like to talk with people and share ideas. I've always looked at myself and how I fit into the community, and all of a sudden you begin to say that, well, maybe I can influence this community. Maybe I can affect this community in a positive way. I find myself involved with the community theater. I think one of the best things about public television is the tremendous drama. When you're watching a drama, whether it's a comedy, a tragedy, or whatever it is, if there's an interruption, you sort of lose your concentration. Whereas with public television, when you get into it, you can stay into it until it's finished. The thing that I've learned over the years in farming is that you're not alone. You're part of a system. You're part of a community. You're part of a people. To me, public television is very much the same thing. It's a system, because all peoples really have to contribute to it to make it a success.
I want the challenge. I really want the challenge. If there's not a mountain in front of me anymore, I'm not happy. And some of the kids come in and said, "Are you on TV, Mr. Chiovitti?" And I said, "No." They said, "Well, Miss Bird's got a movie with a bunch of guys racing in wheelchairs." And I thought, okay. So I went down there and basically stuck my head in the door and said,
"Is this the video I've been hearing about all morning?" Cool. This is cool. What exactly are you watching, Miss Bird?
We're watching Scientific American Frontiers, and this is a special segment that they've done on wheelchair races. The kids learned everything about the physics of the wheelchair, and I think they came away with an appreciation of physically challenged people. They didn't see Don Chiovitti as the teacher in the wheelchair anymore. They saw Don Chiovitti as the guy that races.
the good thing about scuba diving is it's a freedom, it's an independence. It's something up until a few years ago I never thought I could do. It is so visual, and it is so beautiful. I can just suspend myself in the water and get in proper buoyancy, and I can feel like I'm standing up, and it stretches my back out. It just feels so good. It feels really, really great.
No matter what obstacles life throws in front of you, that with determination and hard work, you can usually overcome about anything. I recommend that my students watch PBS. It makes my job as a career counselor a lot easier because they see firsthand some of the things that they can achieve if, again, they're willing to work hard.
It's a sport, you know, you're trying to find a comet, a little fuzzy object in the sky before somebody else does. And if it is a sport, it must be the world's slowest sport. It's a little bit like looking for a needle in a haystack, but the needle is moving through the haystack. So you have to look through the whole haystack every night in the hope for finding the needle. Every now and then, everything works just right. Nature decides to put on a really dramatic show, as happened when Comet Shoemaker Levy 9 smashed into Jupiter. I think the biggest impact that Comet Shoemaker Levy had was right here on Earth, because a whole generation of people, of children, could look up at Jupiter, which is the brightest thing in the sky at the time, and could say, I was there watching when the comet hit Jupiter. PBS got me to this telescope by introducing me to music when I was a young person. PBS is a part of our experience. It gives us a chance to see Americans at their best, at their most enthusiastic. It gives Americans a chance to show each other what they're passionate about and what makes life special for them.
PBS allows me to pursue my passions that I wouldn't otherwise necessarily be able to pursue.
My first exposure to nature was via television, and the pioneer in bringing nature into the homes of us city kids was public television.
PBS does not insult my intelligence. I want to see fulfilling programming. I want to see nature programming, how-to programming. Those are the things that I really enjoy about PBS.
It takes time, and you need a lot of time. Sometimes I can see the full process or see the full story within an hour or 2 hours, and I enjoy that because it keeps me there. I'm not disturbed by the commercials. You know, my train of thought and my interest in the program is not taken away by another mindset of which is somebody's trying to sell me something.
PBS always gets your head thinking and wondering, and I think it's good for people who don't have the opportunity to travel the world, because PBS actually brings the world to them.
We get the Wall Street Journal, but we don't get the local paper, so we never have the TV listing, so we never know what's on. But, you know, most of the time if you turn on PBS, there's something interesting on it, and we don't worry, you know, we don't worry about it too much. It's kind of like if you're invited to somebody's house and they're really a good cook, you don't worry too much about what they're cooking.
Growing up in Yonkers, New York, I was part of the first generation that did not have an involvement with the river. You know, we lost it, but it made me want to find my roots in the river, you know, what the river meant to me. And what I discovered was that great feeling of ownership and that feeling of belonging. You know, that the river belongs to me, I belong to the river. When you think about PBS, it's very much the same thing. You know, you belong to it, it belongs to you. It's a place where you can rediscover things about yourself and about your community and about your roots. My first exposure to nature was via television, and the pioneer in bringing nature into the homes of us city kids was public television. One of the things I saw in the past 2 years, which was terrific, was Kevin Kline's production of Hamlet, which was done as a very contemporary production of Hamlet. I'm not a big Shakespeare buff by any means. I'm not well versed in the theater or drama, but boy, this captured my imagination. It's worth remembering that PBS was the pioneer of nature broadcasting, was the pioneer of different kind of news broadcasting, was the pioneer of live performance broadcasting. They will continue to be the pioneer of new kinds of broadcasting.
When Helmut and Erika Simon went hiking in the Austrian Alps, they had no idea they would make the most important discovery in modern archaeology. They had discovered the oldest and most perfectly preserved human body ever recovered. A man almost as old as the pyramids. This spectacular discovery would hold thousands of clues to the times in which he lived. Now nature has revealed this body to a society with the technology to unlock the secrets of the Iceman.